Oh. Hey everybody, you found it. The Geekshow Arcade. What's up, folks?
This is the best. This is the best video game podcast out there. I'm just gonna say that.
Rails. I just want you to know that.
But we're on hoverboards now, Tony.
We don't need.
Where
no
we're
rails.
going. We don't need roads or rails.
Magnets.
How do they work?
No one knows. Welcome to the Help Desk Arcade, where we talk about video games and video game related content, gear, gadgets, video game stuff. It's fun. I don't play a lot of video games, so I always, kind of zone out a little bit, and I'll admit that. But I try to add content where I can to make myself relevant and feel good.
You get to drive though, so we're gonna have 300% more Lando.
300% more Lando.
Why are you driving?
Right now, Tony's been sick with the newest form of not COVID, something.
Yeah,
It's not COVID.
Who
I
knows?
tested.
Not
He
COVID,
tested
but
multiple
it's
times.
not COVID for sure.
Maybe
Tony's
COVID
trying
had
to
a
die.
baby
He's-
with the flu.
He's definitely on the mend.
Now it's
for
the
sure.
fluvid.
Fluvid.
Anyway, Tony's feeling better, but not great. So I'm gonna keep the show on the rails. I'm gonna drive us to our destination, and it's about the journey. So let's get going on that journey. Introducing our panelists. Jaren.
Hi, I'm Jaren. You can find me on Blue Sky at Jaronius.
Or Jaren.best.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Tony.
Hi. Check me out on Blue Sky at Quad T or on other Geek Show podcasts.
And Owen.
That's me. Follow me here. Follow me in the between. Apparently, I have no filters there. Constantly embarrassing myself. Lando likes to bring that up that we're 4 patron subs away from unlocking a new embarrassing Owen story.
That's it. Just 4.
Yeah, follow me here. You get I want to say the best of me, but y'all know what that means. You just get me. Not really any different levels.
Every Owen is the best of Owen.
Yeah, it's just kind of I don't know how to change that. And we have a host today, and his name is Lando.
Hey, it's me. It's Lando. You get 300% more Lando this episode of the game show. I'm super excited to be here. I'm gonna be invested. I'm gonna lock in and focus on everything everybody says. I'm gonna care. I'm gonna try and add my commentary, my thoughts, and my opinions, and it's gonna be great. That's what you have in store for you today on this week's episode of the Help Desk Arcade. Jaren, do we have any emails, my dude?
Yeah, we got one.
Yeah.
This one's a bit old because, again, it was in spam. This is from Nick Napalm and Fries to Go Hatton. He says, "Hey, Lando.
Hey.
Got any pointers for Slay the Spire? I am trying to gain some traction, but it seems very random. Anything in particular I should focus on?" Nick Napalm and Fries to Go Hatton.
Yeah, I got a couple things for you. Here's how you're coming to the guy who's not the best, but I will give you what I know about it. It comes down to reps and practice, so don't give up. Sometimes one of the things I was getting stuck on a lot was thinking cards were not good enough to take, and then realizing later they were pretty okay, and I should have took them. So kind of learning those interactions and synergies really, really helpful. And that comes through practice as well. The other thing I've done that I really like is I watch, his name's Baylor. I can't remember exactly. If you just search Baylor Slay the Spire on YouTube, YouTuber who plays strictly Slay the Spire with a ton of good content, but he's got some really character-dependent videos on tips and tricks that I found very, very helpful. So I'd recommend going to watch those as well. There you go. I appreciate the question. Any other emails, Jaren?
No.
Okie dokie. In that case, we're going to move on to the bulk of our show, in which we pick stories that we think are interesting and want to bring to the show. You may have heard of them already. That's okay. The reason you come here is because we add our opinions and our thoughts and our feelings, and sometimes alternative facts to the stories, and that always turns out to be a good time. So let's get going.
Facts. Hold on, that sounded.
It was pointed, and it was at you, Owen.
I never add alternative facts. I just have points of view that you don't agree with that happen to also be true.
Owen facts.
Maybe.
We'll just call them facts.
Doesn't matter. So here we got a story here about not pissing off Nintendo.
Yeah. Nintendo, I don't know. I hate Nintendo, but they're also good. Love-hate relationship, you know. They have the ability to completely brick your Switch too.
Mm-hmm.
They
It's in
can
their
make
legal
it
clause.
permanently unusable if you break their rules. So they say users must agree without limitation not to publish, copy, modify, reverse engineer, lease, rent, decompile, disassemble, distribute, offer for sale, or create derivative works, obtain, install, or use any unauthorized copies, so pirating, exploit the Nintendo account services in any manner other than to them in accordance with the applicable documentation, blah, 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 bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with, or otherwise circumvent any of the functions or protections. So, I mean, yeah, today it's like, yeah, if you buy games, you don't have to worry. But down the road, and we all know Nintendo is not great at game preservation. If it's often up to the community that has to go around, they have to do less than legal stuff to preserve stuff that is no longer available. Nintendo has the right to screw that community over, and Nintendo's already not in that community's good graces anyway, and Nintendo doesn't care. But
Well,
it just
Nintendo-
sucks.
It's a bummer.
And Nintendo historically, that's been one of their biggest things is people hacking their hardware to put on homebrew, so you can do all that stuff. And the most they could really do before that is ban your account, your Nintendo account, if they could get a hold of it. Kind of like Microsoft did that once upon a time where they would ban your Xbox's MAC address, like your hardware IDs, so you couldn't play online anymore, but you could still play offline, right? I don't know if you guys ever saw any of those banned Xboxes back in the day where they were like, if they got caught doing specific mods or hacks to the Xbox, they would ban the MAC ID, and that way it could never connect to Xbox Live again. And then they would just sell those to unsuspecting people, and it became a nightmare. But Nintendo's typically faced issues with people hardware modding their stuff, and this gives them with the built-in ability for them to send some sort of kill code to your device. That's kind of a slippery slope, I think. It's like,
yeah, I don't like that at all.
like I bought it. Like if I break it and violate your terms, fine. I can't enjoy all the features. I can't play online. Whatever.
You lose warranty, fine.
Yeah, like whatever. But they're doing this, I think, specifically to be able to brick. When they come across a mod, there's especially a hardware mod. There are some unpatchable hardware mods, and those are always been like, oh, this is an unpatchable hardware mod, and Nintendo and most hardware makers just have to deal with that. They're like, we can't fix that, and so then it becomes this known method of getting around their security or whatever. But now that they know that, they're like, well, we can detect it, we just can't do anything about it. Well, now they can do something about it, and I think that sucks.
Wonder if there's a way for them to undo the bricking.
Yeah,
if
I wonder.
Someone appeals it.
This is like the thing that I hate most about like the BMW seat warmers, that like they put them all the cars, but there's a software unlock they have to pay more for. That feels like in the same kind of realm of stuff.
I would assume in the hardware modding community, finding and disabling that ability to kill switch will be priority number one. Is the ability to stop them from cutting you out and cutting you off, like reverse engineering how that's completed and attempting to block that.
How can you test that though?
Well, not only that, but it has to be software based, right? So if you just block it in software, what
I
if
don't
you
know.
could, like,
We have no idea. I think they send a corrupt firmware that bricks the device. I mean, it has
yeah,
to
but
be
I bet
something.
you could do a host entry, right, where it says just block
yeah,
certain hosts or whatever.
Because you have to. I guess that's the question, right? Is it reversible? Like Tony said, like if you can reverse it, then it's got to be something like that, right? Where they can, where they point everything back to Nintendo, to some dummy DNS server that Nintendo owns, and they could actually get back in and fix it. But if they're sending some sort of corrupted firmware that actually makes it so that you have to do like some sort of Nintendo only flash on the ROM to get it back up,
That would be pretty rough.
that'd be rough.
Yeah. But you know, seriously, Owen, don't piss off Nintendo.
Seriously, don't piss off Nintendo, especially if you're Power World. I like this game, Power World. Did you guys ever play that?
No.
I played it. It's really fun, actually. From a
Isn't
world
it like
of,
Pokemon with
from-
guns?
Exactly. So with Pokemon not iterating at all, Power World has taken that, and it's actually a really fun game. I have to admit, I didn't like it at first, but very much the real-time strategy type of thing with Minecraft, gathering supplies and parts and resources and building a bigger, better world, catching the beasts. They definitely have Pokemon vibes, if not directly, very, very closely adjacent. Pocket Pair, who makes Pal World, got sued. They lost a lawsuit, or preemptively changed their code to avoid a lawsuit with the Pokeballs. They call them Pal Spheres. You can no longer. They had to stop being able to release those by throwing them. You could when the animation of releasing your pal, your buddy that you've caught, you would throw this. You would throw the ball. And
The Pokeball.
The Pokeball. You'd throw it, and then they come out. It was really cool because you could chuck that ball into conveniently located places to have a better strategy for attacking higher level Pokemon, like the wild ones. Like you could throw it over there, distract it, and let you run around
pals,
behind
you
it.
mean?
What were you
sorry.
throwing?
Pokeballs, Pal Balls, Pal Spheres.
Yeah. By the way,
Balls.
I think ball is one of the lists that would be on your wife's list.
Balls. I'm not supposed to say balls.
Yeah, you should say ball.
Really?
It sounds weird
Pokeball.
coming from you.
Pal Sphere. I'll just say spheres.
There you go. That's
Spheres.
better.
There we go. Updating my code.
Spheres aren't balls.
Okay, code updated.
They're
So
balls.
well, Nintendo couldn't directly confront them on copyright infringement because they changed enough stuff. As we know, U.S. copyrights, you only have to change X amount of percent to make it work. So Nintendo went the patent route to get them on patent infringement
Game
And-
mechanics.
on game mechanics. Mhm.
Really?
Mhm. So Nintendo
Oh.
made it so that Pocket Bear had to remove the ability to throw your pal sphere. You can't do that anymore. And
You
then
can't
just
throw things in video games anymore.
Nope. No, you can't release. You cannot release a creature that you've caught in a sphere by
From a-
throwing. I haven't
from a
read
ball.
Yeah, I haven't from a sphere. Lando, we've changed it. My code is updated.
No.
But the most recent one is that you could get on pals that could fly. You could ride them throughout the world, the flying
Like a
pals,
mount.
and like a mount. But that has
Is that another
been-
banned word?
Nope, I don't think so. I'll see if I can get a fuller list of those because, like I said, I don't know them for sure until they come up. And she goes, Anyway, so Nintendo I tried to find if they had filed this patent for specifically to beat Pocket Pair, but I couldn't determine it when they'd filed that. But what I did find is that they have a patent filed for riding mounts, riding gliding mechanics, and so they just with this new update, Pocket Bear had to rip that out too. You can no longer ride your mounts. You have to have a glider, and you can pair your mount with you, and they'll glide with you, and you can still get the same buffs and whatever as if you were riding them, but you're technically on a glider.
Yeah.
And the modding community did not like that very much. And so as of, I think it was yesterday, the 12th, there was already a mod out there in the community that rolls it back.
Nice.
It doesn't roll it back to the previous version. It uses a loophole in the game mechanics to make it so that you still have to have a glider in your inventory, but it allows you to still ride your pals around the world. So
I like riding my pals.
yeah, I'm trying to avoid the words that I feel like are embarrassing now, like mount, riding, balls, sphere. Anyway, balls. Anyway, so yeah, don't piss off Nintendo. Remember we were talking about this a year ago when Pal World came out. We're like, man, Nintendo's been sitting on their laurels about this. I can't believe that they're just
Yeah,
letting this
finally.
one fly because they're so litigious that normally they come after anybody that does anything Pokemon or Mario or anything, right?
Finally woke up.
And
Yeah.
our back in the day, our prediction was, well, they're just waiting for them to make some money. You know, that's one of the things Nintendo has put in there. They're not just trying to get a cease and desist on Pal World now. They're asking for back damages on all those patent infringements to date that Pal World and Pocket Pair have done. So,
All right.
Don't piss off Nintendo.
Don't piss off Nintendo. Tony, talk to us about some really good news I'm super excited about with Fallout.
Oh, Fallout Season 2
So excited.
update. Yeah. They wrapped filming for it last week. There's a video of Walton Goggins ripping his face off, if you want to go find that. Pulling all the prosthetics off
I bet he hates that.
at the end of the last day of shooting. And they have announced that it will release in December this year.
God, it's so far away.
And
The show
more,
just came out.
more good news.
I'm like on episode 3.
You're terrible,
How do you
Jen.
not just binge them all?
More
They're
good
so
news.
good.
They have announced also that they have already renewed for Season 3.
Comes out in December of 2027, I'm sure.
They didn't put a...
I
They put a
know, but it's going to
release
be
of that
forever.
one,
It
but-
already feels like forever away.
So here's what we know so far. December 2025 this year for Season 2. At least some of it will take place in New Vegas. And there's a fun kind of, not a teaser, but, well, I guess it is a teaser, of some footage from the Amazon upfronts of Season 2 that you can check out. It's linked in the article here. So, yeah. If you like
So
Fallout
stoked.
Season 1, which anyone who has any taste did, more of that good stuff coming.
I don't disagree.
The
Whatever.
end of
I'm
my story.
going to leave that bait right there. Jaren, talk to us about the ROG Ally 2. This is exciting.
This has been leaked from the FCC, as they like to leak things. The ROG Ally DOS. And it feels like it's growing up here. The original ROG Ally was more style over comfort. The 2 was a little bit style, a little bit comfort, and then, or the X, excuse me. And then the 2 is just full on, I'm an old person now, I want to be comfortable.
Right.
Because it does not look
Nice.
pretty. It's ugly. It's
I want to know
hideous.
why did the FCC throw this in a sandbox and kick it around a while before they took a picture of it?
After
I
deep
think-
frying it too.
Does this
Jeez.
does
All
this
that
have to
oil?
be? Does this have to be for the patent stuff? Is that what, or for the
I don't know. It is in
just to
rough
certify
shape,
it.
though.
for the FC for the communication stuff for the Wi-Fi and all that?
So anyway, I say it's ugly because it kind of looks like a mix of a PlayStation Portal and an ROG Ally. It has very prominent grips.
Grips, yeah.
Which
So-
I'm fine with.
It looks like it's going to be comfortable, but
Grips might be on the list, Owen.
it's chonky. It is a
You guys don't
chonky
get
boy,
to update my list, Lando.
and it's very ugly in my opinion.
I don't
but-
think it's any that much uglier than a Steam Deck.
No way, Steam Deck is much better looking than this. Anyway, though, there's going to be 2 different versions. The white version it's going to be Xbox branded. This is probably the handheld codenamed Project Kennen. It's going to come with a chip that's slightly faster than the Steam Deck chip. So honestly, really not that interesting specs-wise.
I don't know why they would do that. Like,
Yeah, maybe it's
They're
going to be
already-
really cheap or something.
they're already hindering it somewhat, putting Windows on it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now they're gonna gimp it with
And
a
aren't they
freaking-
late to the game with this handheld thing? Like, they're
Oh.
already fighting against the ROG Allies on their 2nd gen, and they're coming in. I don't know.
It's the same. It's both made by Asus.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same.
It's
So
the, I
yeah, the
thought-
smaller one comes with a 4-core
20-watt
20-watt chip rather than a 4-core 15-watt chip, which is in the Steam Deck. The Ally 2, however, is looking more of a refresh. It will come with a Ryzen Z2 Extreme.
Okay.
Same screen by the looks of it. Rumors are it'd have 64 gigs of RAM. I'm doubting that though.
They might offer a more expensive version for 64
Yeah.
gigs.
Yeah,
of RAM, but
yeah.
You might be right. I think that's totally overkill for
Yeah,
a
The
it is.
small
Extreme, right?
handheld.
You'll get the X just like this one.
they
Unless you can like dedicate 16 gigs to VRAM.
24 or 32 is great for a handheld.
Yeah.
You don't
I
need
agree.
64.
So it looks like just pretty much a spec bump as far as the chip goes and form factor. But the screen will probably be the same. Honestly, I don't know if this would be worthwhile to upgrade if you already have an Ally X.
especially
guess
if Steam OS comes out for the Ally X.
Yeah, and really the big hindrance here, as we all know, is Windows.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a good experience. Like
Needs-
every once in a while, the ROG app, whatever it's called, will just randomly freeze, and you really don't know why. And you have
Armory
to-
Crate.
Armory Crate. You have to
They
close it,
really
reopen
need-
it.
They really need to slim down Windows if they're going to put it on dedicated handheld.
Yeah, I found
Gaming
a
PCs.
project called. Oh freak! I forgot what it was called. Anyway, it's people that are trying to make Windows on handhelds better. It's called Winhanced. Anyway, it has like a Steam Deck-like interface with FPS limiters built in and a bunch of cool stuff. They've only been building it for like the last 4 or 5 months or so.
Oh, it's
It looks promising though, from what I've seen. It'll automatically add all of the different stores into the interface. You can actually click install from that interface as well. But if 2 people can make more progress in 4 or 5 months than Microsoft or Asus, who have unlimited money,
yeah.
like, what are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So the Z2 Extreme chip in this is basically AMD
Strix Point?
370 Strix Point minus the NPU piece, the AI piece.
Now that's
So-
the bummer, because I would be interested in FSR4. In one of these
Well,
devices.
yeah, and FSR4 isn't supported on the Strix Point stuff.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's 16 GPU cores versus 12 from the previous generation, and they're what is it? RDNA 3.5, which was the Z1 Extreme RDNA 3.5 as well.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I
So
think it was 3.
I think it's clocked slightly higher as well. So I mean, you're probably looking at like, I don't know, maybe 20% increase power wise, maybe a little bit more, maybe 30. So not huge, but definitely not nothing, you know.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I wonder
Tony.
I wonder how memory bandwidth is at this point.
That's the big question, and that's what makes the Strix Halo SoC so much better. Aside from the fact that it has 40 GPU cores,
That's so many.
it has double the RAM memory bandwidth.
Yeah.
Double? Are you kidding
going,
me?
Going from 16 to 12 cores, that's a 33% upgrade,
Yeah,
like in amount of cores. And if it's clocked higher, maybe you can get like 40, 50%, maybe. But if the memory bandwidth is the limiter, like
that's what I was gonna say. That's already the bottleneck, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna help you that much.
we'll see when it comes
Speaking
out.
of handhelds, I have a story here from Valve about Steam OS and how they're going to start giving compatibility ratings specifically for Steam OS separately from the devices other than Steam Decks. So you'll start seeing ratings for Steam OS on devices that are not specifically a Steam Deck.
Which is
so it's called the
only
new Steam
one at
OS
this
compatibility
point.
system. What, Jaron?
Which is only one device at this point. The Legion Go S, something
Yeah,
like
Legion
that.
Go S.
Yep.
Is Steam making
Yep, set to release in May.
Is Steam making a new box?
The other thing
No,
it does
they're
mention in the story, just real quick for Jaron's sake, there are people who have Steam OS in beta for ROG Ally and what was
Yeah.
that one?
Probably think just
Oh, the Legion Go
Legion
S.
Go.
We'll start seeing the
Yeah.
the Steam OS beta popping up soon, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. They've
I'm
already
excited for that.
committed. They've
Yeah.
already committed that they're going to do that, but they have given no timeline on when it'll be officially supported on the Ally and the Ally X. So
Well, I wonder if
Windows
this is going to
and
extend
gaming
to
is just a
things you install
bag
Steam
of
OS on
hurt.
yourself, too.
wow, I didn't understand what either of you said.
I said
I'm
Windows
contributing,
and
actually.
gaming is a bag of hurt, as Steve Jobs would say.
What did Lando say?
I said I'm contributing to the podcast. I'm wondering if you'll start seeing compatibility for devices or for things that meet the minimum requirements for SteamOS that you install it on yourself.
I think so. I think
That'd be cool.
I think Steam is pushing in that direction. I think Valve is because they stand to make a lot of money if they could have people installing their own OS on systems that point you right at the Steam store. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
So,
the Steam Deck has made me not want to buy games from the Epic Game Store, single-handedly.
Oh,
have a story
speaking of
about this.
which, Tim Sweeney, CEO of Epic, he knows Epic Game Store's crap. He's admitted to it over here in an article.
He's like, what are you gonna do?
He says specifically, these are thoughts that he shared in an interview. The Epic Game Store sucks less than it used to.
What a glowing review.
But it still
Not
sucks.
From
Not
the-
very high praise.
Who is this guy? Is he the CEO?
He's CEO of Epic, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it sucks less than it used to.
He says, one of the reasons that people characterize the Epic Game Launcher as clunky is because the Epic Game Launcher is clunky. Just, we're not putting enough, he's another one, we've not put enough emphasis on the quality of life features. We've recognized this very clearly multiple times, and we've gone through multiple refactorings, but, that's definitely been a disappointment to us and to a lot of users. If you know that it sucks, why don't you
Fix it.
spend more time
Drop a dime
and
on that,
effort
right?
making it better?
And fix it.
I'll tell you what, I used to love the free games on Epic because they still do. They give out a free game like every week or something. But the quality of those games, in my opinion, has gone downhill
Yeah.
over time, for sure. But secondly, put a little less emphasis on that and a little more emphasis on just making the application good,
Yeah, if I have
fix
a
it.
free game on Epic and it's on sale for Steam for like $10 or less, I will buy it on Steam.
I
Just
have
to have
done
it in
that.
your, just to have it in your library, right?
Yep.
Because you're like, you
Yep.
know what? It's not worth the headache of that launcher.
I
To
have
be
done
fair,
that as
though,
well.
to be fair, so they scored a 41% when there was actually a launcher judgment or comparison,
Yeah.
and they scored 1%, which is miserable, but that's better than the Microsoft Store.
Oh well, come on. That's
It's
an
better
easy
than
part to roll
they're
over.
they're also saying it's better than the EA launcher
That's the thing.
and
is
BattleNet.
They are
It's true.
The-
It's better than all those.
they are the best of the worst.
Yeah.
You know.
They're like, there
What
are
a
4
rating.
turds. You walk into a it's like a
Exactly.
math problem. You walk into a building and there are 4 turds on the floor. Which one is the best turd?
Exactly.
Owens in the bush.
Which
Don't give
you
away the
set-
story,
you set
Darren.
yourself up for that, Owen.
Whoa! I
know.
just need a turd is on my list now.
All
Cannot
right,
say.
let's move on. So speaking of something, there's not a segue here.
Nice
I can
segue.
find.
Yeah.
You
Talking
nailed
about
it, buddy.
heroes wearing capes. Not all heroes wear capes. Owen, talk
Were
to
we
me
talking
about
So-
about that? I don't remember talking about that.
So you guys, Fallout 1 and 2. You guys remember the debacle with Fallout 1 and 2? Their source code is gone, lost forever. So the Tim Kaine, lead developer of the original Fallout, recently lamented the loss of Fallout's earliest development materials. When he left Interplay, he was told to delete his copies of early builds and even his notes from development meetings. And apparently Interplay has since lost not only the source code, but also the original Fallout artwork and the clay models that were scanned to make the 3D talking heads of some of its NPCs are blessed with. But luckily for Interplay, the co-founder, one of the co-founders, is a data hoarder. Shout out to us data hoarders.
Yeah.
Her name's Rebecca Heineman.
Didn't work for finding the podcast.
You know, I
That's
think
why
that's
I'm
too
shouting it out.
too soon, Jaron. So Rebecca Heineman, she kept copies of the source code for Fallout 1 and 2, as she told the Video Gamer news outlet here. She's like, in 1993, Interplay published a CD collecting one game it published in each of the previous 10 years, including Battle Chest, Bard's Tale, The Lord of the Rings Volume 1, and the original Wasteland. Heinemann put the anthology together using her own copies of the source code of those games, except for Wasteland. When she went looking for it, she discovered the others weren't putting much effort into the backup. So she was like, hey, why aren't you guys backing up your stuff? Because she's like, hey, I'm backing up my stuff. So she's like, so I asked for the source code and was given a blank stare. I went to the COO's office and he gave me a cardboard box that looked like it had been run over by a truck and had some of the source on floppies.
Jeez.
She said I ended up contacting friends at Electronic Arts to get a copy of the source we sent them when Wasteland shipped. So she went to her buddies over there and was like, "Hey, remember when we sent you that source code so you could do your whatever?" And then from then on, since then, Heinemann took snapshots of code for every game she's worked on at Interplay, as well as she ported for Mac Play, which was originally a division of Interplay. And she's like, I made a request to snapshot everything and archive it onto CD-ROMs. When I left Interplay in 95, I had copies of every game we ever did, no exceptions. When I did Mac Play, which existed beyond my tenure at Interplay, every game we ported, I snapshot it, it included Fallout 1 and 2. So she's the hero here. She's got the source code, and she can make it. I don't know if they're going to give her permission, but they're asking. She said she previously had made the source code available for the 3DO version. I don't know of Doom. Oh, Heinemann previously made the source code for 3DO version of Doom available on GitHub. She's like, I wrote the code, so I gave myself permission.
I give myself permission.
I wrote it, so I gave myself permission. And I asked id Software, and they said sure.
Nice.
But Fallout would require permission from Bethesda, and I hadn't got around to asking them. They're on my list, she said.
She's not a hoarder. She's an archivist, Owen.
What is the
difference
that is?
They're the respectable type.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. That's the
so
difference.
until it's needed, it's hoarding.
Yep.
But once it's needed,
Well, there's a lot.
then you're an archivist.
Hold on. There's another stipulation. It's not just that you
Has to be organized.
Exactly.
Mine's
Has to be
organized.
organized and easy to get to.
Cataloged and documented.
Cataloged.
Mine,
Like an archivist would do.
I have a
Meticulous.
very, very intelligent search system called Windows Search that does all that for me.
First
Yeah.
of all,
How about that, Owen?
Just a little,
Okie dokie.
just a little file indexing.
Thanks for helping us with that, Hero.
Yeah, there you
Next
go.
up, let's talk about Giant Bomb. Speaking of publishers.
Yeah, this is kind of a cool story in the age of video game publications kind of going down the tubes because the owners don't care about them or they want to sell them and things just go.
toes up.
Yeah, good one, Tony.
There
I was
you
thinking
go.
of the other version that Owen probably couldn't say. Anyway,
Nose up.
Nose up. Giant Bomb, who was
I don't think
owned
those are on the list.
by Fandom, and a lot of people do not like Fandom. They are now independent. So they bought their IP back from Fandom, and now they are doing their own thing. So that's pretty cool. Good for them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good
that's
stuff.
nice.
When did they start? 2008. So they've been around for
For a
coming up
while.
on 20 years pretty soon.
I mean, did Fandom just think there was no more blood to squeeze from that stone? So they're like, yeah, take it, whatever. Or they
Who
just like,
knows?
it's not a good investment venture anymore to have a news outlet like that.
You never know with these guys.
Yeah. Like the beginning of the month, their content was put on hold, and there was like reports of editorial interference from its parent company. So something was going down internally that we don't really know the details of, but it's all sorted now. They own their own site, which is awesome.
Awesome. Love to hear that.
Cool.
Sweet. We have one story here left. Let's get it out of the way real quick. Talk about Marvel 1943.
It got delayed to next year.
I forgot this was even coming out. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
I did too. This is Amy Hennig's, who did Uncharted, by the way. Whoop whoop.
Yep.
This is her take on a Marvel property. Has Black Panther, Captain America, two other people I don't recognize. Anyway, it was supposed to come out this year. It's going to be like an Uncharted type game by the sound of it, and it's being pushed to next year. Hopefully not around Grand Theft Auto.
I remember when I saw the trailer for it, I thought it looked really cool. And I still do.
Yeah,
But
yeah, looks
they,
cool.
they have gone radio silent on it for the last, 8 months, 10 months. So when I saw it, my first thought was, I don't remember a Marvel movie coming out called Marvel 1943. What movie is this talking? Oh, it's that game.
Yeah.
Like I was completely lost. When
Here's a
I saw
good
it.
Yeah,
question.
I totally
Here's a
forgot.
good question. If there is a game coming out next year that's going to come up against against Grand Theft Auto,
You got there in the
what?
end.
Yeah, I got there.
job.
What game do you think would have the best chance?
Nothing.
None. You don't think anything can go? Not even David and Goliath.
The only game
maybe
I think,
a Nintendo, even a Nintendo IP.
well,
if
that's
it
what I
came
was gonna
out,
say because big Nintendo IPs
like Metroid.
like Grand Theft Auto
No, not Metroid.
exist in their own realm, right?
Right. They don't compete.
They don't compete with anything
Yeah.
else. And so if you launched, I don't think that you would see much of a sales difference if you launched GTA 6 and like a new Mario Odyssey. On
Oh
the
yeah,
same day.
because
People are going to
it's
buy
a console.
both of those games.
It's
right?
and it's a console seller too, right? Like it's not like
Exactly.
you have
Yeah.
to choose what platform you get it on.
Exactly. But like any other thing going up against GTA 6, nothing.
You don't
There's
think anything.
nothing would come out even close to surviving.
Unless it's a PC only game that happens to get big. Because it's not coming out on PC next year.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Jaren's got a point there.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
so that
what?
gives some Grand Theft Auto
Okay,
is
I
coming
take
out
it
for
back.
console only.
There's one game that I could see now that Jaren has said that and kind of jogged my memory or jogged my brain here. Half-Life 3. Half-Life 3 could launch on the same day as
yeah.
GTA 6, and I don't think
And
it would
maybe
hurt sales-wise.
Because you think they'd buy both.
Yep. And because it's on PC. Half-Life
Yeah,
3 is
that's
on
true.
PC.
And
So
the
it's a good
rumors
hold.
are really picking up on Half-Life 3.
They
Oh, baby.
really are.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. Oh, I want to believe.
Me too.
But yeah, that kind of makes a difference because GTA 6 is coming out console first for what, a year probably.
At least.
I'd say at least a year.
Yeah.
Probably 2.
What console?
I hope
what
it's
console do you want to
not.
run? What console do you want to run that on? PS5 Pro? You think?
Well,
PS5
yeah,
Pro
if
will
you
be
got a
the best
PS5
one.
Pro, that's going
Yeah.
to be the best one to run it on, but
Yep. I can
Interesting.
wait though. I don't need it when it
All
comes
right. Well, that's our show for this week. But before we go, we're gonna do some Patreon things. And I'm gonna fulfill my Patreon pimping duties here for just a moment. For those of you who have not heard yet, we are exactly 4 new Patreon subscribers away from unlocking new in-between bonus content from Owen. And if
Owen
you've not yet
content.
listened to the in-between content from Owen from a couple weeks ago, he told a story in that that is better than the James Poop story. Hands down, better than the James Poop story. It will go on in infamy. It will be the one we turn to in years from now and replay over and over again and come back to time and time again to release all kinds of hilarity. And here's the truth of the matter. Owen has another one locked and loaded. So for 4 more Patreon subs,
Here's a
you're
little.
gonna get that good content. So please
Here's a
subscribe.
little. Here's a little
and if you
tease.
do, you
it's
get
10
some-
years later. It's
You get
it's a tease.
Part 2.
10 years later.
Years later.
Yeah.
So, and if you do subscribe, not only do you get bonus Owen content, you also get both shows ad-free, early together with the in-between, of course. You get access to our super secret Discord, which is awesome. And you get our undying support and unwavering thanks to you, the listener, for subscribing. We appreciate you. If you do want to give us a little bit more money, not required in the least in any way, shape, or form, but if you give us $6 or more, you get a big shout out to you every single week on the podcast. I hope people listen to this part of the episode. It's one of my favorite parts of the episodes because Jaren gives you a shout out, which is great if you just want to put your name in there. Some people have had their name in there for a long, long time, and they never change it. And if you don't want to, I don't blame you. But if you do want to change your name, you can make Jaren say whatever you want. You can make him say whatever you want. One person was
Which has
making him
been
say that
great.
he had diarrhea. It was fun. So we always appreciate those people who change their names and keep our life interesting. Jaren, do the thing, my dude.
Thank you to David Broshinsky, Interrupting Cow, Aaron Faulkner, Connor Keesaw, A Fire at Sea Parks, and Ben Trash King Jones. Thank you, guys. You are awesome.
Yes, thank you much.
Fourth Dimension Craft on Instagram for all your laser engraving needs. Make 7 up yours. Jason Eatman, Embargo D's Nuts Lambo, Andy Bird, Be the 8-year-old, Kyle, Chester the Cheeto Commander and Chief, Jerry Ga Arimasu, Tony the Excel and Power Apps Nerd, Pieman Graphics, Purveyor of Fine Geeky Stickers, Curse Gengar 94, Keslo, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, the in-between rating plus 500. Narrow at both ends, wide at the center.
Football.
Like Owen. DP, I want to get stuck in Lang's beard. Wesley, enter a clever Patreon name here. Stuart Lloyd, if you try and take a cart apart, a cat. If you try and take a cat
I got
apart
there in
to
the
see
end.
how it
Feels
works,
good to say that.
Broken cat.
the first thing you have on your hands is a non-working cart. Cat. F.
Wow.
And finally, yes, Owen, we do care.
That makes me feel good every time.
Thank you. Thank you, dear listener, for being the end of our show. We appreciate you and all that you do for us. And I think, we do this show for you. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do the show. It's a symbiotic relationship, if you get what I'm talking about. So thank you. Owen, do what you do.
Hey, we hope you care.